So funny enough, I wake up Saturday morning and they are in my driveway in Birmingham. One of the guys is sitting in my daughter's swing set smoking a cigar.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here again, and we've got a special guest, Josh Decker, who will introduce more in a second. First off, want to read off a couple of folks that are helping to make Best Ball and the Whole Story Podcast possible. Some friends of the program, a new one, Holderness and Bourne. If you're in the golf world and you like golf, you've got to check out Holderness and Bourne, hbgolf.com. Apparel company, they do it right. I'm wearing one of the shirts now, and it's just the perfect fit, not too loose, not too tight. Jonathan and I are actually going to go out and test it out on the course today to make sure it works well. But Holderness and Bourne, founded by friends Alex Holderness and John Bourne. Again, they want you to look good both on and off the golf course. Their summer 2024 styles and colors are out now. Check out hbgolf.com and use Best Ball as a code for complimentary shipping on your next order. Another partner is Western Birch. We've talked about these guys plenty of times. Lewis and the team there. Western Birch golf tees are ridiculous. They don't break. So you order some, they will last a long time. Jonathan, I know, just got some more of the short golf tees because he doesn't like hitting driver ever. But yeah, so we've gotten, you get some, you can customize them in any color. You can put logos in the cup. It's incredible. But visit westernbirch.com. And again, if you use Best Ball as a code in the shipping cart, you can get a little gift with your order. But let's get to our guest, Josh Decker, self-described, and we're going to ask more about this on his Instagram as Guardian of Sweetens Cove Golf Club. And recently went with some guys, and what we really want to talk about today, he traveled to a little place called Homer, Nebraska to play a course called Landmand. So, Josh, welcome to the Whole Story Podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, really excited to talk about our trip just last week, I guess. Still trying to recover a little bit from it.
Understand that. Yeah. So how does golf? How did you get into golf? Did you grow up playing? Did you, like many people, play other sports and pick up golf later? What's your golf story?
Yeah, started playing when I was, I guess, 12 or 13. Got my first set, and then played all through high school. Wasn't able to make the school team because our school team routinely won state championships, and you had to be just about scratch to make that team, so that was out of the question. But then played in college, took golf class at Auburn, and then have just stayed with the game. For me, it's all about the relationships and the time and just meeting guys like you to talk about the game and the experiences that come with it. It really, I feel like golf is more about bringing people together necessarily than the competition, at least at my level of play, if I'm being entirely honest. But that's also one of the things that I love about golf is regardless of handicap, you can go out and have a game and play against one another and really enjoy it.
Well, you've obviously graduated from sort of playing golf in high school because your Instagram, and you might have to defend this because you call yourself the Guardian of Sweetens Cove Golf Club, and yet you just said you're not very good at golf. So tell me how you're the Guardian. You like stand at the gate with a sword and only
that is precisely right, Jonathan. Yeah, okay. There's a handful of us that really cherish that place and hold it near and dear in our hearts. So we're keepers of the cove, so to speak, and that we want to just make sure that place maintains its integrity, that people go there and enjoy it for what it's meant to be, and it is a special place to me.
So, well, describe that for those of us who haven't gone or are really just pining to go at some point. Talk about what makes it so special. What you feel, because you've played a lot of golf in different places. What sort of separates that or creates the culture that you want to continue to defend?
Yeah, great question. How casual it is. Matt Adamski has done an unbelievable job creating a culture of let's just come out and have fun. Golf is meant to be fun, enjoyable, and the beauty of Sweetens Cove is it is a phenomenal golf course, a country club-esque golf course without all the restrictions that come with said country club, right? So if you want to pack a cooler full of beer and throw on a t-shirt and a backwards hat and go play Sweetens Cove all day long, that is the welcomed way to go around that track. So no restrictions on group size. I've played as an 8-some, I've played as a 16-some, and that's just the beauty of it, is it's so laid back, yet in great condition. Of course, the course is closed down at the moment for some updates, and winter just took a toll on the place. But yeah, chomping at the bit to get back out there once it opens back up. But how casual and laid back it is what makes it so special, and that's truly a testament to Matt and his leadership.
Well, that was a King Collins design. I think their first design is a 9-hole track. I guess before we jump into the next course that King Collins did that you just recently experienced, just talk about the design. I know you say it's a fun course, but it's a 9-hole track there at Sweetens Cove. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get me really fired up. We're going to start talking about Sweetens more than I thought. So what's so great about Sweetens is it's not long by any stretch of the imagination, but you will 4-putt a green. You will hit it on a spot, and the only way that you're going to get close to the pin is to hit it sideways and then hope you have a chip coming back the opposite direction. The creativity, it is a very thoughtful, it's almost a mind test. I mean, you got to... And that's, I've jokingly, and I've meant this seriously, there are people that I will not invite to go play Sweetens Cove because they're going to putt it off a green and they're going to get really mad about it and pitch a fit. And if you do that, you don't understand the place. And that's what, it's so unique in that there are some drivable par fours, but if you go for those par fours, you might, and if you miss your shot, you're going to make a 7 or an 8, even though you're greenside. And that's what I think is a ton of fun, is the risk reward associated with golf. I mean, I feel like, number 10 at Riviera, I feel like that is a great, I guess, example of a lot of the kind of what you will see out at Sweetens Cove. If you want to go for it, you can go for it, but you might end up completely hosed with no chance of a shot to get up and down.
One last question before we get to Landmand. Do you have to wear shoes at Sweetens Cove?
No. Played many a hole barefoot.
There we go. Let's go play some golf.
Yeah, no, it's great. And that's one of the things that is kind of a running joke with a lot of the guys that I go with and some of the guys that I went to Landmand with is, wait, does Josh have to wear a collared shirt? Because I love going up there in a T-shirt. And what's also great about it is, like, I took my daughter for spring break. She's 8 years old. And we just grabbed a cart and found open grass and threw balls down. And when somebody was on the tee box behind us, we picked up and went on. And she cannot wait to go back. She's been asking me almost weekly, Dad, has Sweetens opened back up yet? Dad, has Sweetens opened back up yet? So that's what it's all about.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mentioned in our exchange on the Instagram messaging that we were supposed to go back in early June prior to the tough decision. I know it's got to be tough to shut a course down because you're not bringing in any money, but the tough decision to shut it down and kind of redo some things. So we had to take a rain check on that, but we will definitely be back because that's the type of place we want to play. And speaking of a place like that, another King Collins example, Tad King and Rob Collins crushed it out at Landmand, and you just got to go experience Landmand. Was this your first time going there?
It was.
Okay, well, let's jump into it. How did you and a group of, 3 guys went? How did y'all decide to do this? I know you got some notes on how you came about, picking this place, why going there, and maybe some logistics of how you got there.
Yeah, so it really came to be because I fell in love with everything King Collins does. Just being at Sweetens and understanding their architecture and how they build golf courses. And then when I was told that Landmand was Sweetens Cove on steroids, I was like, okay, I have to go. Like, it's not if, it's when. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with how they drop their tee times, but they drop them on New Year's Eve at 8 a.m. And that was a Sunday this past year. I think it was a Sunday. So I roll out of bed, and I've already told a handful of guys, like, hey, I'm going to plan on getting 2 tee times. Let's take 8 guys. Let's go have a fantastic time. Get online, and it's absolute chaos. Very similar to how some of the past drops have been with Sweetens Cove in the past, where you'll get something in your cart, and you'll go to confirm it, and then it's already been taken by somebody else. So scrambling, and finally got a tee time, 12:20 on July 11th. Just one spot, though. So had a short list of the guys of people that had already said they were committed and were in, and they said, let's do it, let's go. So I live in Birmingham. We flew from Birmingham straight to Omaha, and then from Omaha up to Homer's, maybe an hour, 40 minutes, if that. Got everybody loaded up, got everything coordinated. We did have a group. 2 guys drove from Tampa, Florida, which was a bit aggressive. And I'm no geography expert, but it was mind-blowing to me when I pulled up the map to look at their drive and realized that Omaha, Nebraska is further north than Denver, Colorado, and is almost the same latitude as like New York and Boston, which again, geography is not my specialty, but that was kind of crazy to think about. So they drove, I think it was 20 something hours to get there.
That's
were
crazy.
those guys
Yeah.
originally from the Midwest? Because I'm from Illinois, and that's the most Midwest thing to do: drive 25 hours instead of a 3-hour flight.
Okay. No, these guys are one's from Vegas and one's from Orlando, and they reside down there.
gosh.
So yeah, but what they told us their plan, and they for half a second, myself and the other guy that went with me from Birmingham, we were on board to ride with them, and then common sense prevailed, and I was like, no, I'm hopping on a plane. So landed in Omaha, and of course had our tea time on Thursday, and we landed in Omaha late Tuesday night. And once I got our tea time, I went into the cabins that are on the Landmand website. They have 4 cabins on site that are all unique in their own way. The one we stayed in was R, which was bourbon themed. But when I went in and found that it was available for the night that we were playing, I was like, okay, that's an auto, like we're doing that. That makes sense. We're going to already be on property. And then when I saw that it was available the night before we played, I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and get there, because there's not a lot in Homer, Nebraska. I don't know if your listeners are very familiar with that area, but it's really close to Sioux City, and there's just not too much there other than Landmand. So booked the cabins for both nights, but it was really kind of the drive up on Wednesday morning. I had texted with Rob Collins of King Collins. I was like, hey, we're going up. Where should we play beforehand? And he said, you've got to go to Old Dane. I'm like, Old Dane? What is Old Dane? Well, Old Dane is a 9-hole course, 10 minutes from Landmand, that is also owned by the Anderson family. And it is fantastic. It is this just 9-hole track. The greens are phenomenal. And I think it was $45 to ride 18 with a cart. And then the replay rate was $15.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, we're going to play Old Dane all day on Wednesday, and then we're going to drive to our cabin at Landmand and go up top and see all that. But I can't rave enough about the staff at Old Dane. Tanner, he's one of the local guys. He's known the Andersons for a long time. He was fantastic. The merch, not to get ahead of myself in terms of the experience and everything, but the merch at Old Dane, being owned by the same family, they have Landmand merch there. We did more damage, I think, at the Old Dane than we did actually up top at the pro shop at Landmand. But yeah, so made the trek up north, met up with the guys who drove all through the night, and then played all day at Old Dane. The food there was great. They're known for their pizza. Highly suggest the pizza. The buffalo wrap, fantastic. They have a spicy Italian sandwich, top notch. But it was truly great.
With that much golf, you had to eat that much just to like keep the calories up. And you
Yeah.
talk about earlier, you mentioned you were recovering still from the trip. It sounds like, I mean, you guys played what, like 4 or 5 rounds of golf in a day and a half?
Yeah. So, and to that point, Jonathan, the morning we played Landmand, which was Thursday morning, 3 of the guys, and yeah, 3 of the guys. I'm not the oldest. I was gonna try to give myself a pass, being the oldest of the group. They got up and went and played another loop and a half at Old Dane before we played Landmand. But I'm old, and I backed out on that.
That's understandable. Well, I know, we talked about this before, but we're going to try to tee it up at Old Dane before they shut it down, I think, in October to start redoing it. It's 9 holes now. I think Trev Dormer, I've read some stuff, he's going to do, a 12-hole track now?
Yeah, 12-hole track.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned, like, there's not a square inch of property that he's not going to touch and move around. And if it's anything like, I know he was part of the crew that did Landmand, so he's got some experience, like you said, with the Anderson family and with what they've done at Landmand. So I'm excited to see what they'll do. It'll be fun to play it once in the 9-hole format and then go back and play it again. And, the original thing was, I think Will bought it as a place for his dad and his buddies to go play. So just a cool, like you said, there's not much in Homer, there's not much around the area. It's pretty cool that, we got farmland, let's build a golf course, let's make it happen.
Yeah, it was, which was kind of crazy to think about, and I want you to file this for when you go play it. It was originally 18 holes, and you're going to get there and be like, wait, how were there 18 holes out here unless you're wearing hard hats and firing into different groups? But yeah, Trev Dormer, like you mentioned, I think he also did some work with Core Crenshaw. So that was a hot topic of conversation between our group. Is like, okay, well, when we come back, we can't wait to come back and see the new Old Dane. I guess late season of 2026, I think, is when it's reopening.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so let's walk through your Landmand experience, right? So you didn't get up and go play Old Dane the day you were slated to play Landmand. You had obviously gone up top. Let's start there. Describe the up top experience for those that haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it actually getting there was a bit of an experience for us. So we leave Old Dane. We're all exhausted from playing 35, however many holes it was. Put Landmand into Waze, and my rental was a minivan, and so we're driving this minivan through cornfields on gravel roads in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska, just following Waze aimlessly, hoping we can end up at our destination. Actually take a wrong turn and end up near what I later find out is a haunted graveyard, and we can see the cabins across the way, and we can see up top. So we quickly figure out that we're not in the wrong spot, but find the actual entrance, which there's no sign, there's no big entrance, there's no guard, it's just a gravel road, and you pull up effectively to the cart barn, and they come unload all your bags, everything, give you a golf cart that's going to be yours for the duration of your stay, and then you kind of wind up a path and see the big windsock and the American flag, and you're up top. And this was one of the coolest things for our group was you think about pro shops that you've been to and how you walk in and there's a golf pro standing there and they've got all these different sleeves of balls and all of that, and that's not at all what up top is. You get up top and it's a bar with merch, and you're overlooking 18, which is great. One of the great things about 18 is the 18th green is a shared putting green as well. So we immediately go up and sit at the bar. It's a very informal check-in. I'm like, hey, it's Decker. We got a 12:20 tomorrow, and we got Cabinar. And they're like, okay, thanks for being here. I'm like, all right. Don't need to give you a credit card or anything. No, we're good. So we all sat down, had a drink at the bar. Uniquely enough, Bryce Anderson, who is Will's dad, ends up sitting down at the bar right beside us, buys us a drink, and starts talking about the golf course and talks about trips to Sweetens Cove and just everything that is so special about Landmand to them. But up top was really cool. The viewing area up there, you get your first glimpse of how massive the golf course actually is.
Did you get a tried and true?
I did not get a tried and true. I was sticking to some hazy IPAs.
Okay. And I saw on your Instagram feed, or maybe it was one of the guys you were with, but they look like the cups are green. I've got a stack of red Landmand cups. So it looks like maybe they're green this year. Well,
and so they're green, and they told us they had just gotten the yellows in the day we were leaving, and we were trying to finagle our way into getting some of the yellows, but we failed, unfortunately.
Next trip.
Next time. Yep.
So you're now in the clubhouse. You're enjoying it. What's your experience? I'm assuming walking out on the back, overlooking the entire course.
Okay, how was there only one golf course here? because it is such an expansive property. That was one of the things that we were talking to Mr. Anderson about, that it's 600 acres. And I was looking at some stats on what just like your typical 72-hole golf course fits on, and I think it's like 150 to 200 acres. Mm-hmm. And the 18 holes at Landmand sit on 600. So 3x what you normally need for 18 holes is where Landmand sits. And it works. It's just huge.
17th green probably takes up most of that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
35,000 square feet. I think it's, unless somebody will correct me, and please do, but I've heard it's the largest green in the country.
Wow. Okay. I can see that.
That's nearly an acre by itself. And the nice part is it's 600 acres without having to worry about hit houses, right? It's just out there on its own. Well,
and like the fairway, some of the fairways are 150 yards wide, and so that was one of the unique things for us. We had a couple guys who were low single digit handicaps. And then I'm in low teens, another guy that's like an 8 or a 9. And it's the playability is there for all games, all skill levels. Now, you're going to end up on the wrong side of a pin, but you're going to be in the fairway. Now, the pin might be in a spot where you're going to hit it. Like I think it was either there's a hole that's shaped like the banana. I have this, and you'll want to edit this out, obviously.
No, you're good.
Number 4. So there's a hole out there, number 4, that has this big banana-shaped green that has a kind of upslope on the back end. And I hit a great tee-ball, but hit a wedge that got up and just hung on the very top of that edge to the point that I had to hit it out sideways. Thankfully, I'm very accustomed to that from playing out at Sweetens. But it was fun to have those different shots and different skill levels and see how they attacked it.
Well, with Nebraska winds, there's a reason why it's 150 yards, because you might be aiming for the left and it lands completely on the right.
So that was one of the most fascinating things about getting there and looking at the scorecard. And I'm not sure how many other places do this. Unfortunately, I've never been able to play in Scotland or overseas. But there are different handicaps based on the wind direction. Like the first hole, depending on wind direction, can be either the 17th or the 3rd hardest. The 11th can be either the 2nd or the 18th hardest, just based on the wind direction. And that was mind-blowing for us.
What was the wind like?
Yeah, I was going to say, what was it like for you?
We felt like it kept changing on us. so we would get on one hole and it'd be like, okay, we're going, wait, we have a southeast? Okay, wait, now we have northwest. So which handicap should we play?
Very nice. Well, they have one of the coolest pin flags as well. You've got it represented on your hat, the windsock. I do have my driver cover. I had to buy it. Like you said, the merch is incredible. So I bought a driver cover. It's that yellow pin flag color, and it's I think it says how to play Landmand. Like it's a 1-club win, and it shows like either the flag's kind of hanging down all the way to I can't remember what the last 4-club win or hit all you got or something. If the flag's blowing straight out.
Yeah, and they have multiple logos. One of the really cool logos was the milk carton logo. Which I did not understand or know the origination of that logo, but the milk carton bunker on 18, you will go there and get lost. And so we're all familiar from our childhood of seeing the missing face kid on the side of the milk carton, and so they've taken that and turned it into a logo for them based on that bunker and how you'll go in there and get lost.
Yeah, almost wore that hat today. Robbie brought me that one back last year. So
Jonathan didn't get to experience it, but he got a milk carton hat.
That's right.
Nice.
I was missing. I wasn't there, so...
Well, one cool thing about Landmand, and very similar to the Sweetens in the laid-back approach, is they have walk-up songs, right? So you're out there on the putting green, and I don't know what if it's a song per group or per person. How did you guys pick your walk-up song? What was that like?
So it's by group, which was we found that out I guess the day before we played. We were just hanging out up top, and that's let me circle back to the walk-up. The staff was absolutely incredible. They were so eager to serve, eager to help, happy to accommodate all of our funky requests. We tried like crazy to get a replay after we played on Thursday, but the staff was awesome. Donovan, Skyler, Mazzy, they were all great.
Did you run into Sam Kincaid while you're up there?
Did not run into Sam Kincaid.
He's a lifelong friend of Will Anderson's, and he laughs. He's like, nobody really has titles, but he's kind of the general manager of the place. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But
everybody is.
Yeah. But yeah, so walk-up music, we had a really short list, but ultimately decided on Shook Me All Night Long. We did hear some different requests. There was some Merle Haggard. There was some Waylon Jennings. That might have been similar or groups that were together to be in that same genre. But yeah, so we went with Shook Me All Night Long, and it's blaring, and that just was such a cool experience to step up on that first tee with that music going, and launch them into that massive fairway that is number 1.
Yeah, it's a unforgettable experience. So what's the advice? Like if you say, hey, be sure New Year's Eve to be ready to grab a tee time, go ahead and plan now for your trip. What advice, what little things do you have for people that should do the same thing you guys did? And we got to point out, it's public golf, right? It's not a private course. You're not joining it, but it's public golf. It's just they have limited tee times and they sell them all at once. And this year it was a 3-hour window. Yep. So what's your advice?
Yeah, I think there's only 11,000 tee times, and that doesn't. They're only open for half the year, I suppose. My advice would be figure out your group, go ahead and decide on a few dates, and then what you get is what you get. So if you need to go in and one person gets a date this time and another person gets a different date, go ahead and be aligned on the dates you're hoping to get, and multiple people go in an effort to secure your tee times. Because we left there. Eager to go back. We jokingly called our group the 7-Eleven crew, and we're planning, or at least hoping, to secure a July 11th tee time next year as well, and just kind of keep the tradition rolling. They do have a wait list that you can get on for cancellations. We did notice it appeared to be a lot of locals because they were all wearing Iowa and or Nebraska gear. So I imagine they stay kind of on the wait list for any cancellations. There were 2 groups that just didn't show up. We did find out that there are a handful of people who think they have the 11th, and when in reality they have the 21st, which I can't imagine the kind of issues that causes for Landmand when those people show up thinking they're playing that day. I wish they would allow more replay or allow you to at least go out and play like another 4 or 5 holes at dark. The last tee time went off at 5 o'clock. So there was plenty of time, and we tried. I mean, we put our best effort forward to try and sweet talk our way into, hey, can we just go play 5 more holes? Can we just go play 3 or 4 more holes? I'm eager to play it again because I want to play it. One of the things back to Sweetens that I love so much is doing a first loop all the way back and then the next loop going all the way up because of how much that golf course changes. And I felt like it's very similar at Landmand. It's 7,200 yards, I think, from the tips. I don't recall what it is all the way up, but I know it would be a very different golf course once you play it all the way up.
Yeah, I think you're dropping 2,000 yards if you go all the way up.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that's substantial.
Yeah.
I think the real question is, are your friends going to drive from Florida again, or did they learn their lesson?
So lesson was learned there. And that's what we talked about, how we were considering, albeit briefly, joining them on the drive, but that the drive home would be horrendous. Like,
right.
We're just ready to get home at that point. We got home at 11:30 in Birmingham that evening. The best flight out was around 1:40 for us, so that gave us time to get up. We of course talked about going back and playing another loop at Old Dane Friday morning before we left. But we had a 1:40 departure out of Omaha, that's an easy straight shot right down the interstate from Landmand. But no, they've already decided that next year they will be flying to get there more expediently.
Well, because they got home at 11:32. It's just the next day.
Right. Yeah. So funny enough, I wake up Saturday morning and they are in my driveway in Birmingham. One of the guys is sitting in my daughter's swing set smoking a cigar. And
I saw that picture. I didn't know that was from your house.
that was my house. So they drove through the night to Birmingham. We played Greystone here in Birmingham on Saturday. More golf. So definitely still recovering, but spent the day with them. We went to Pebblehurst Golf Society and the Pebblehurst store here in Homewood, which if you're ever in the Birmingham area, go by and see Ron and Garrett and those guys. Phenomenal golf shop. Bunch of one-on-one putters and one-of-one iron sets and those kind of things. So they wanted to see that store, so took them by there. But yeah, it was a great trip.
Very nice. Well, we kind of ask, before we jump into this thing we call a quick nine, we ask everybody to describe, as fans of golf and lifelong golfers, what's your most memorable golf shot?
Ooh, okay. I did have a lengthy birdie putt that went in. We're talking about the trip, right? Specific to the trip?
No,
ever,
anyway.
whenever.
Oh, well, Father's Day weekend, I made my first ace this year.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty memorable. I was actually with one of the guys that went with me to Landmand. We were playing Highland Park here in Birmingham. I think it's an old Donald Ross. And a downhill par 3, caught the slope and rolled right in. So that's definitely my most memorable golf shot.
Nice. On Father's Day.
It was that Friday.
That's awesome.
That's a good start to the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey golf friends, this is Robbie from Best Ball. Are you looking for the ultimate Myrtle Beach golf experience? Well, it's only a click away. Check out the 2-play special at 2 of America's most awarded public golf courses and 2 of my personal favorites. Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club are low country masterpieces featuring 2 iconic Mike Strantz designs. Play these 2 incredible courses for one great price. Visit truebluegolf.com to learn more about the 2-play special and book your tee time today. That's truebluegolf.com.
All right. Well, we like to do a thing we call the quick nine. So you can be as loquacious as you prefer or short-winded if you'd like.
Okay.
So I'll start off. Let's exclude the 2 that you've just mentioned and gone on about. So Sweetens Cove and Landmand. We're gonna move those out of the way. What is
Okay.
the favorite course that you've played besides those?
Pasatiempo.
Nice. Great logo as well.
Great logo and a spiritual experience. I walked it by myself, no music, and it was I got chills right now just talking about it. Like I want to get out to Pebble, and everybody talks about going to Pebble, but I'm like, you need to go to the other side of Monterey Peninsula, and you can get on for nothing and play Pasatiempo.
Not $1,000.
Right.
All right. What course is at the top of the bucket list?
Right now, So my bucket list is interesting because I try to think through feasibility. Because I mean, of course, bucket list would be like Augusta, right? But places that I think I can legitimately get on and play. Old Barnwell's up there, Tree Farm's up there. Hoping to do a trip down to Cabot Citrus Farms with the same group that just went to Landmand. Those are the ones that I'm eager to check off.
All right. We'll exclude your buddies, even though we know that they're the honorary mentions. But who would be in your dream foursome?
Dream foursome would be Kat, Eric Church.
Nice.
And Colt Knost.
Very nice. Man, what would you guys talk about?
Everything.
Be a quiet group. All right. You and your guys have done trips. Favorite buddies trip destination?
I mean, I'm partial, obviously, to Sweetens just because it's so laid back and it's so chill. And if you have 10 guys, y'all can all play together. So, funny enough, this was my first actual just golf-only trip. I do a lot of golf for work, but this was the first time that I have planned a trip outside of Sweetens purely based on going to a destination to play golf, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm really excited. I'm doing a couple of the Sweetens road shows in a month or so, doing Pinehurst and Tobacco Road, so really excited about that. But yeah, I mean, especially if you rent the E9 house at Sweetens, it sleeps like 12 guys. That's so great.
As a little side note to our quick nine, tell everybody about the road show. I've seen it. It looks awesome.
Yeah, so with the closure of Sweetens Cove this summer, Matt and team wanted to find other places to give people the Sweetens Cove experience. So there's a handful of them, and they're still available. There's still spots open for any of these, and you can go to sweetenscove.com and see all the information on the road shows. But it's Mammoth Dunes, Pinehurst, Tobacco Road, the Fields, and then Red Feather, which Red Feather is out in Lubbock, and I think is only King Colin's second full 18. But that's where Ludwig's a member. Highly suggest looking that one up.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks incredible. So I've already signed up for Pinehurst and Tobacco Road, and on the heels of going out to Landmand, my wife is not too keen on me going out to Lubbock for Red Feather, but I'm trying to just play my cards right, keep the house clean, because I really, really want to go see that place.
Yeah, it wasn't one of our questions, but maybe it should be, what trip are you taking your wife on in order to make up for all these golf trips?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that
that's
maybe
a
off
question.
camera.
Yeah, somewhere nice.
You don't have to commit to that on camera and have it.
Yeah, I don't want to put let's exclude that from any recording.
That's our golf counseling podcast.
All right, what is your favorite snack on the golf course?
I'm not a big person to eat on the golf course. I'm trying to think what my go-to is other than a cold beer. That was, so not to revert to the merch thing, but one of the items that was for sale at Landmand that is not on their website is one of those cart cooler bags that attaches to the front of your cart, and that was an auto buy for a few of us. I'm like, yep, that's going home. But in terms of snack, I like those one bars. That's probably what I keep just to maintain some level of sustenance, to try and outweigh the cold beers that are going down.
There you go. Well, we talked about, I guess in our text chats, Seth McWhorter, obviously great logo maker, creative guy. But we ask, and it doesn't have to be one of his, but what's your favorite golf course logo?
Favorite golf course logo? So the milk carton thing was really cool. I didn't buy anything with the milk carton but I'd have to revert to Pasatiempo. Just the little man sitting up against the palm tree is so classic. Big fan of that one, and big fan of Wingfoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wingfoot's nice. All right, favorite club in the bag?
Right now it's driver. So one of the guys on the trip got me absolutely dialed. Old Dane has some simulators also, and so one of the evenings we went in there and hit on the sim, and he moved some weights around, got me really, really dialed in, which was great for playing Landmand and also playing Greystone on Saturday.
This is, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the guys you played with sells clubs and does all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, the golf bench.
Okay. Yeah, the golf bench. Give him a plug.
Yeah, he's a great follow. He's the one that got me dialed in. I mean, he grabbed my Titleist driver and was like, hold on a minute, let's tweak this weight, let's put it on this shaft setting, and let's work on these feet a little bit. And I mean, I started absolutely pumping them, which was, I mean, we all know how much easier that makes this game, right? Now, if we could only just fix my short game, that would be even better. But yeah, Chuck's great. Check him out at the golf bench on Instagram. All kinds of custom stuff. He has some putters that are out of this world. And great guy. I was describing him to my wife because I'd never met him before this trip, which was a unique scenario. But he's not necessarily gregarious, but joyful. Like, everything is just fun and chill, and so that makes it easy to, when someone's trying to give you instruction and help you out with something, when they have that approach and that attitude, that makes it even easier to accept.
Might have to look him up.
Yeah. He's not volunteering like, ooh, you need to do this on your golf swing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he sounds like, I mean, the perfect way to describe him. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he was great.
All right. I think you are music while you're playing. If so, what kind?
So it depends on the vibe. And a lot of this is when I say vibe, I mean how we're hitting it, the group we've got, and where we are. There was a time a few weeks ago we weren't playing well, and I was listening to some like yacht rock, and I was like, okay, we've got to completely switch this up. And I turned on 3-6 Mafia, and then birdies were made. So it all just kind of, there's an ebb and flow to it of the condition of the play, where we are. I mean, I'm not going to roll into Shoal Creek playing 3-6 Mafia. We might just stick with the yacht rock there. But yeah, it all depends on kind of the state of play and the vibe of the group.
Nice. All right, finish this sentence. People would enjoy golf more if
they played shorter tees, played up.
Great answer.
I'll attest to that. I've been playing golds and reds for a while, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then this goes back to my earlier point. Like, golf should be fun. Like, enjoy it. Like, that's the beauty of this game. Is it's one of the few sports that you can play until you're 80, right? And there's no need, unless you're playing in a very serious competition or something that's not handicapped or whatever. Play the tees that are going to help you to have a good time and enjoy your experience out there. We only have so many hours in a day and so many days in our lives. So play the ones where you're going to have fun. But yeah, play forward tees.
Absolutely. And enjoy the company you get to play with. Sounds like you did. So,
right.
Josh, we appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed the questions you guys had. The 9 questions, that was kind of put me on the spot there, but that was pretty thought-provoking, and I enjoyed it.
No, man. Well, we tell everybody, it seems like we start out and we're like, let's find interesting people that we would want to play golf with, and it turns out that we haven't missed yet. Everybody we chat with, we're like, man, we want to hang out with this person. Let's all plan a trip to go back to Landmand. So it's been a lot of fun. But having played it, I know you as well, Jonathan, you're going to get to play it, but highly recommend getting out to Landmand. We did a little podcast from there last year, so check that out, the Whole Story podcast. But for Josh and Jonathan, this is Robbie. Appreciate you guys listening to another episode of the Whole Story podcast.